What is going on? Alexander Thomas here. Welcome back to Game Time 123. We are in the first episode of the second part of Crush on a Girl. This episode is called Unlawful. If you missed the first episode, it'll be linked to the end of the video. This one is called Unlawful, and we're going to get into the second part of this one. Main storyline is that Scarlett wakes up from her sleep spell, and she tries to convince her parents. Like in the previous episode, her parents are not convinced. It's continuing the previous story. And now Alex has to move him again. So it's going to get into this story here. I'm going to leave my webcam off for this tradition of this one because it does mess up every once in a while. Let's go and get into it. We go to, I think it's Saved Adventures because we have it. And keep in mind, Alexander and Scar are both 18, although it says 22. That we also have a dog and a cat on a part of this. It's going to catch. Hopefully it catches, so the shark catches up. Okay. So we are continuing the sequel here. This is going to be a 3-part series. I, of course, have dice I'm going to be rolling for it, and let's go ahead and continue the sequel. Each of these sequels cost me 3 pips, what do they call it. It's not a new story, per se. It was inaccurate.
Morning light spills through Scarlett's chamber as she stirs awake to the scent of fresh sandwiches and the soft snoring of 2 fed beasts in the hall. But before peace can fully settle, a courier from the city arrives breathless at Thornwood's gate. Bearing a sealed edict, the Veil Witch's death has ruptured older wards, and an ancient dragon-buried vault beneath the capital is beginning to stir, demanding champions to descend and reseal what should never wake. As Scarlett and Alexander share a quiet, shaken meal and speak of what they survived, the message makes their next trial unmistakable. Together with their odd new pack, they must journey to the capital's undercrypts, brave the dragon-haunted vault, and bind the restless power below before it spills ruin across every manor and village they ever swore to protect.
And we have combat on this still. But just in case warning, this episode could be inappropriate for younger listeners. So this is really a second part to the story. So there's a friend in part of this. I think it was waiting to be healed. That's fine, though. We're taking a rest.
In the oak-panelled solar, Scarlett pleads her case, voice trembling as she speaks of iron doors shattered and spells endured. Yet her parents' faces remain grave, as Lord Thornwood finally says. Courage in one night is not a lifetime's proof. If you and Alexander are to be joined, you must save our dearest friend, Lady Elowen, lost on the road to the capital, or accept that your paths must part. Lady Thornwood softens, reaching for Scarlett's hand as she adds, bring Elowen safely home, or at least secure her fate, and we will bless your vows with all the strength our name can give. Fail or turn aside, and we will know your love was not ready to bear the world's weight. In the hush of the solar, Scarlett's parents set down their terrible condition, and as the weight of it settles, Alexander meets Scarlett's gaze, nodding once in fierce, wordless agreement to seek this endangered friend together, rather than accept a life parted. Outside the door, the werecat's ears twitch, and the gnasher huffs softly, as if sensing a new hunt taking shape, one that will test not only steel and courage, but whether their bond can truly carry another's life upon it.
Oops, it's over there. I need 60 points, so that's just good for full heal. We still have a dog and cat, and we only have a quest.
Safe within Thornwood's quiet walls, the weary little pack surrenders to deep, dreamless sleep, bandages snug, and breaths finally, even after the harrowing night in the cellar. By the time pale light filters through the manor's windows, muscles ache less, wounds have knit into stiff pink lines, and the day's grim choices feel, if not lighter, at least bearable enough to face together.
Which is good, because we kind of needed to do that. So we have to go save someone. Here's the quest for it. Test of 4-1 vows. So we give another quest, apparently, as we gotta deal with. And this is the person we have to save is Lady Thornwood. Wait, no. Lady Elwyn. I'm gonna go with. I'm just gonna say it's how it's pronounced for it. We are current now. Let's see. I think we're all level 2, so our skills things do not do anything yet. It's level 2, level 2, level 2, level 2. Yeah. So since when we move to level 3, we increase again. So the sword will go up to. We'll be able to roll 1d8 twice. Same with daggers. So Scarlett would go to 4 daggers, and her healing would be 3 1d8s instead. All right. So I should use B and I in there. It is Lady. To make sure we have. Okay. So we have to go find Lady Elm. Who knows what that's gonna do? Okay. I think I spelled her name wrong. Oh, there's this.
Cobblestones ring beneath your steps as you and your odd little pack stride into the town's waking heart. Market stalls yawning open, while a bell tolls from a distant chapel, and caravans creak in from the road to the capital. At the central notice board, Scarlett's jaw firms as she studies the wanted notice. Then she looks to you, eyes bright with safe within Thornwood's quiet walls. The weary little pack surrenders to deep, dreamless sleep. Bandages snug, and breaths finally, even after the harrowing night in the cellar. By the time pale light filters through the manor's windows, muscles ache less, wounds have knit into cobblestones ring beneath your steps as you and your odd little pack stride into the town's waking heart. Market stalls yawning open while a bell tolls from a distant chapel and caravans creak in from the road to the capital. At the central notice board, a rain-curled parchment catches Scarlett's eye. A sketched likeness of a dignified woman, labelled Lady Eloan, missing, with promises of her gratitude and a willow-circled charm to any who bring word of her fate. While nearby, a road-worn messenger murmurs to a trader about a noble's carriage, last seen turning off toward the old chapel waystone outside town. Scarlett's jaw firms as she studies the wanted notice. Then she looks to you, eyes bright with purpose and a hint of fear, and says, "The chapel waystone outside town. That's where her trail bends. Under my parents' charge and by our vows. We follow it. The stitched werecat pads at your side, and the Nasher snuffles the dust for carriage scent. as your small company pushes through the bustle of the square toward the road that leads out past the fields and onward to the old chapel lane.
I'm not really sure, but it sounds like we're actually getting married. We're not there yet. Okay. Let's see. Dropped my die there. So, party's going to go to the chapel outside. Just outside town. That's where we're going now.
The fields fall away behind you as the lane climbs toward a lonely stone chapel. Its mossy roof hunched beneath a leaning yew and a half-toppled waystone carved with faint draconic coils and a small heraldic sigil you recognise from Lady Elowen's notice. Scarlett moves ahead, fingers brushing the sigil as if in greeting, then pushes open the chapel door on creaking hinges, pouring softly into the dust-scented dim. Lady Elowen, by Thornwood's oath, if you are here, we've come to bring you home.
This looks like a grave, like a tomb. Okay. Anyways. Okay. They're technically fused, but I can't spell that word, so. If I spelled that right. So we have to go to the lectern. Fine, we go to the lectern and find there's something in there, and except there we find a letter on the lectern.
Inside the dim chapel, dust motes drift over empty benches, while your steps echo toward the simple lectern where a single folded letter rests, its wax seal cracked and bearing the same willow-sigilled crest you saw on Lady Elowen's notice. Scarlett's hand trembles as she reaches for it, the werecat's ears flattening and the gnasher snuffling uneasily at the silent stone, as if some trace of hurried departure or quiet despair still clings to the air around the abandoned message.
So the letter. So we are going to say we go to the final letter. The letter says, "If anyone finds this letter, I may take you to a castle at." Letter ends after she was taken during the time that she was writing the letter. So not much. We didn't get much information off of that.
Scarlett's voice catches as she reads aloud, "If anyone finds this letter, I am being taken to a castle at." Before the ink trails into a jagged line, from the cracking flagstones, a hulking figure hauls itself upward, a rust-scabbed suit of plate fused with chunks of chapel stone, half its helm buried in rubble, and its halberd chained to the stair. The half-buried Castellan glaring with ghost-lit slits as it lurches towards your company in grim, wordless challenge.
Let's see. That's not critical, just regular. It is a 1d10. 8 damage. It's gonna take a while for this one. She's gonna throw her. I think she's gonna throw her daggers now. Let's see here. She also didn't get it. And it is 1d4, 2 4d4s. That is 5 damage. That's 10 damage. Oh, whoops. No, wait. It's half that. We didn't roll critical. We didn't roll critical. Let's see whether if the Nasher gets critical or not. No. And it is also 1d4. That's a 4. So we're all going to be attacking this thing. Oh. That's a 2, so it's a miss. 3 or less is a miss. Man, that would be a really long word for this. Alexander can throw his dagger as well. That's the same. One is a 26. Does 11. So we did 11, 5, that's 16, 16, we have 20, we have 20 image. We're kind of missed. It's got quite a bit of health still.
Steel and fang ring against the half-buried Castellan as Alexander's sword and dagger scrape sparks from its stony mail. Scarlett's thrown blades bite into cracked plate, and the Gnasher's jaws wrench a chunk of rubble free while the werecat's claws skid uselessly over its armoured hide. With a grinding roar, the Castellan surges through the storm of blows. Halberd sweeping in a brutal arc that catches Alexander square in the chest and hurls him back across the chapel floor. Breath blasting from his lungs as ancient stone and rusted steel demand he prove his right to descend.
Each of those attacks were, the first one that was 20, and then, okay, we got 2 criticals. 2 criticals on it. We got a 1d10 critical and a 1d6 critical for his attack. 1d10 and a 1d6. Both of them are criticals, they double that damage. Okay. So we got 24 damage. Scarlett. It's Scarlett's attack. Let's see what she does. I think we're going to see she throws. Can she throw here? Does she get through both daggers or just one of the daggers? Okay, she gets through both. She gets through both of them. And that first one's gonna miss. The second one will hit. And that is a 1d4, so only one of them actually gets to do anything. That is, oof. That, yes. The other one also almost missed. And then, that's her, and it's we got to the Ganesh's turn. Also hits normally. And she does 1d4. Oh. Okay. Yep. So Bearcat missed. that was a 1. Does she deal damage to herself is the question. No, she did. She got 2 critical ones. I mean, at some point, gosh, how many ones? That was the third one I think that's happened so far in this thing, in this combat. So we have uh, 24, 25, 29 damage. That should be going at him. Again, misses could occur as well. It depends. He could have the thing could have moved. Not 29 damage.
Alexander's sword and dagger carve deep fractures through rusted plate. Scarlett's lone true dagger strike chips a glowing shard from the Castellan's helm, and the Nash's teeth wrench loose another hunk of stone as the hulking guardian staggers under the barrage. It bellows in grinding fury and heaves its halberd in a sweeping counterstrike meant for Alexander. But the blow whistles past as he ducks low at the last instant, the weapon shattering a pew instead, and showering the chapel with splinters and rubble.
He gets both. That is very low. That's also low. So they're going to both hit, but their both attacks are very low. So they only do half damage. So the dagger does normal damage. So they. Okay. Yay. 2 damage. So that did 2 damage. So both these hit for 1 damage apiece. Sword cannot do that lower than that. So, let's see if Scarlett gets a critical. And in fact, she actually gets hit with both of them. Okay, they both are going to hit. They both go for it. We got 1 normal hit and I got 2 normal hits. 1, 2, D4, and D4 each, dealing 4 damage. Let's see. The dog, we'll call it the dog. It's actually does critical. 17 is critical. For the animals. So see the garnish. The garnish is going to be. He does 1d4 criticals twice this. That was 8 damage. Does the cat get this? He just needs to get 17. Nope, cat just normal damage. Unless we get a 1. It's a 1d6. Okay, so let's see. We got 2, 4, 8, and 4. 12. So we got a total of 18 damage, I think. So he's got quite a bit of things to do still. And he might still, and he's probably going to do more damage. I mean, he's a level 5.
Your blades and claws flash in a storm of motion, but the half-buried Castellan lurches at the last moment, your strike skidding from its stone-plated bulk, with little more than shrieks of metal on rock.
Critical.
With a grinding roar, it punishes your overreach, halberd butt-slamming like a battering ram into Alexander's ribs and hurling him back across the chapel tiles in an explosion of pain and broken breath.
So Alexander's first strike gets it's critical. With sword. And for the dagger, it's not critical. So we get the sword, which does critical damage. That's 14. And the dagger, which does 1d, which is that's. I keep dropping the dice. That's a 6, however. So it's 20 damage. Did you get 2 daggers or just 1? She gets both daggers, and she gets them both critical. One of them critical, and the other one is not critical. One critical and one non-critical. So she gets 10 damage. That's nice. Bearcat deals normal damage. 2. Masters gets, if he got critical, so that's critical. That's an 18. So we get double damage on that one. It is 1d4 critical. So that's that was a good round. We got 20, 30, 32. We should get 32, 38 damage. So we should get 38 damage. Ooh.
Alexander's sword and dagger hew deep into the half-buried Castellan's chestplate. Scarlett's daggers thud home at the gaps. The werecat's claws rake stone, and the gnash's jaws crunch down on its halberd hand, tearing loose gravel and rust as the guardian reels. Fissures spidering through its body. With a roar like grinding millstones, it hurls its fractured weight into a brutal counter, the haft of its halberd crashing into Alexander's side and flinging him across the chapel steps, armor shrieking as pain blossoms hot along his ribs.
Good news is we got critical 20. So we could do this sword twice. The sword will do 10 damage critical, so it is that damage twice. So each one of those attacks do twice. So we got 7, 8, that's 15, so it's 30 damage. And we're gonna throw the daggers. Is she gonna throw the daggers? No, she's just gonna regularly do it, and she missed. Luckily, it's not a 1 because she might hit someone else. Because that was the 2. Let's see. Well, werecat. Normal damage. And that is a 1d6. 5. Normal damage. That's a 1d4. That's still pretty good. Got a good amount of damage in that round. We got 30, missed 2 daggers, 5 damage, 35, we got 39 damage. Unfortunately, that is not enough to kill him. Or, I guess it's a skeleton, I don't know. It's already dead. That's normal. Oh, we missed.
Alexander's twin sword strikes, and the pack's flurry of claws and teeth skid wide as the half-buried Castellan twists with ponderous, uncanny grace. Their blows scraping sparks and stone dust, but failing to bite deep this time. With a grinding bellow, it counters in a brutal, upsurging sweep. Halberd smashing into Alexander's chest and hurling him backward into the pews. So hard the breath is ripped from him, and his vision erupts in stars.
So Alexander... That's normal. Not but both, so just both of those are normal attacks. We get an 8 and we got 10 and a 6. That's 10 damage. She strikes with she hits this time, and it's critical hit, so both these are going to be double. Yeah, that's 12 damage, right? Yep. We have the weird cat and we're gonna have them attack together. Okay, 2 rolls. That is a hit, and that is critical. Cool. So, cat does critical. So that is 8 damage for her, and for the dog, 3 to add to that. We had 12, yeah, that's a total. That's actually a total of 22, 33. Not enough. So, Alexander also is going to get a chance to do. Oops. How many berries is he going to get? He can get a 1 to 4. He gets 3 berries. If I do so. It should be 10 for each one, but it could be, they could be criticals. It could be 20. It could be total lot. That is not critical, so it's 30 HP. They do 10 each. If it's critical, they would have done 20 of these. Oh wait, sorry, that's not right. Gotta do the roll for that one. Which is the 1d8, 2 1d8s. Oh, it's 12 each. So that you did better than that. 12, 24, 36. A little bit more. That's the thing.
Steel, fang and thread tear into the half-buried castellan, as Alexander's blades, Scarlett's daggers, the werecat's raking claws, and the gnash's brutal bite smash through cracked plate and stone, until the guardian reels, fissured and crumbling, on the verge of collapse. With a last shuddering roar, it gathers all its failing strength into one punishing halberd swing that crashes straight through Alexander's guard and chest, lifting him from his feet and hurling him lifeless across the chapel floor as his sword falls from numb fingers beside him.
I did not get the berries. The berries, oh boy. Alexander's dead. There's a little bit more to that, but we'll get to it. Roll, not critical. We get 3 rolls of this one, and the last one's not critical either. We do 21 damage. Oh wait, no. Each one of them are normal attacks. They might do 21 damage. We only need to do 10. They all hit, so we got a 1d4. That's a 3. So 3, which is good. Not critical. Her attack also that's a dog's attack. That's also 3, so we'll put to 6. The cat attack, which was not critical, does 9 damage to the. Okay. Oh.
Daggers, claws, and snapping teeth lash out at the half-buried Castellan. But the crumbling Guardian jerks aside at the last instant. Your blows scraping harmlessly over stone and rust as dust clouds the chapel air. With a grinding roar, it wheels halberd haft, crashing like a battering ram into Scarlett's side, and driving her to one knee, armour buckling as she forces herself back up, teeth bared, refusing to fall while Alexander's body lies still on the cold flagstones.
Try to repeat the attacks. Did we get it? Critical! Critical, double that. So we did normally do 9, doing 18 damage. So actually all of the things... So we have now 10 turns left. We now have 3, so we have 6 turns now.
Scarlett, the werecat, and the Gnasher surge as one. Daggers, claws, and jaws slamming into the already fractured Castellan, until its stone shell splits wide, and the hulking Guardian collapses in a thunder of shattered plate and rubble across the chapel floor. Dust settles in drifting veils through the ruined pews, and where the Castellan's heart would be a single faintly glowing sigil, as the half-buried Castellan finally crumbles, the last glimmer of light from its chest coalesces into a hard, cool weight that skitters across the stone and comes to rest at Scarlett's boots, a dragon-coiled sigil, shaped like a key's bow, still faintly warm from the Guardian's fading vigil. When she stoops to pick it up, the flagstone circle around Alexander's fallen body shivers, and a subtle downward pull tugs from the stair below, as though the undercrypt itself recognizes her claim, and bids the survivors bring both key and fallen knight toward the dragon-buried depths where their true trial waits.
She has this, although she's never used it. That's her, which is a one-time used, unfortunately. So if anyone dies on the next fortune hint, you can't do it again. But it could be critical. Let's see. It's not critical. It's just normal. There's no failing on that though. That's the health is now as we do a 1d12. Restore to oh. Bring. And after we do the revival, we will end the episode there.
Scarlett drops to her knees beside Alexander, fingers trembling as she presses her blood-slicked palms over his still chest, and breathes the old vow prayer through clenched teeth until a thin radiance seeps from her hands into his broken ribs. For a heartbeat, nothing happens. Then Alexander jerks with a ragged inhalation as colour floods weakly back into his face. The chapel's dust-swarmed rafters swimming into view above him, while Scarlett's tear-bright smile swims closer, fierce and relieved.
Okay, well, that's the end of the episode once we get to this thing. Now, he gets to go up to his force up as well. He goes up in 2 force, which puts his new combat sword at 1d12. Critical is it's still 18. She levels up. So her sword hand goes now. She now has all of her daggers do 1d6. And she now has Cure Wounds up 3 times. She will be using Intellect for that one. And we will end the episode there. This one took a little bit longer than I attended. But that is the end of the episode. I don't know where we are. I think it's the first part. See you guys in the next video. Don't forget to game on, and we'll see you in this next part of Unlawful. The second part for Crush on the Girl.